Fairbanks, and Mary Pickford?
Well, they're Hollywood.
Do you know anything about
No.
them coming to this area?
They were here, or they were just neighbors.
Oh, Well, good. I'll be asking you a little bit about that too, what you can tell me.
Didn't have any connection much with them.
No, but you just knew of them or something.
Oh, yes.
One thing you might ask them is
Because it's unscrewable. What we're going to do, Josh...
This interview.
Yeah, interview is too big a word. We're just going to have a little conversation like you and I have done a lot of times in the past. And I'll be asking you some questions about Mount Israel and Del Dios. And we're just going to do one of our little conversations that way.
Okay.
Great.
Roll it.
So, all right. Josh Detwiler. Well, Josh Detwiler that has lived here, how long have you lived here?
Well, I moved over here in the freshman year of high school from Oceanside permanently to live with my father on this property.
Wow. Do you know what year that might have been?
That was 19...
Well, you were freshman year. So what year were you born?
I was born in 1917.
1917.
And then I went to school and everything in Oceanside, and grammar school, and then the first year of high school in Oceanside. And then my folks went through a divorce, and I came out to live with my father in Escondido. And I have that data for the exact date.
Now, were there brothers and sisters that you had at the time?
My brother was in the Navy. My sister, Delphine, she soon in that era, or soon in that time, married Arthur Clark. And they had a beautiful family, 3 children. Arthur, June, and
did they live here in the Del Dios area?
No, they lived in Oceanside.
Oh, okay. All right.
And Henry, being in the Navy, he continued, and of course, he's the one that kind of financed me going to high school.
Oh, okay. Because he was a little older than you.
Yeah.
Well, you wrote some really good, interesting stuff here, and I thought I would read a paragraph at a time, and if there's anything you want to add to it, and we might ask a couple of questions in regards to that. And at the end of the time, after I've asked some questions, if we still have time, we might let your son Mark ask a couple questions that we might not have covered. Okay. The first paragraph that you wrote here, Josh, says, Henry, that's your brother, right? He was just out of the Navy, and I had graduated from high school, you say. So I got a wild hair and suggested that we sign up at a camp to see what would happen. We did, and we were accepted into a camp on Palomar Mountain. The parking lot for the Palomar Observatory apparently is where the camp was. And so they were going to build a road to get the glass for the observatory up to the new observatory. They needed some extra men for special work, so Hank, that would be your brother Henry, Hank and I volunteered to work for Caltech. Now, what did you do?
We were, Henry and I were involved in the concrete end of it, building this, and then perhaps the side is gunite, walls, and all the trimmings on on the building.
Of building the actual
Yeah.
observatory dome.
Yeah. And then also we were involved in the homes, which were fireplaces and barbecue pits and things like that.
Oh,
And involved as concrete is involved.
right.
Or masonry.
Your dad was a mason, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was in masonry.
Now Henry, as far as the observatory went, Henry went back to the Navy eventually. There was about 42 of us, or 45, 50, in the camp at Caltech. And they were involved, steel workers, involved in construction, and we worked with them.
Right.
And at night, and we had a wonderful cook and mess hall and all that.
Did you sleep in big tents?
No, we had regular facilities.
And you were building some of the little houses and things that
Yeah.
went with the Palomar Observatory. Was that to house some of the employees?
The houses for the astronomers and the executives were previously built prior to starting the project. But we did little knickknacks around here and there.
Oh, okay.
We were more or less just get the construction done and protected.
Okay. Well, that's pretty interesting. Well, about Del Dios in particular, and about Del Dios and Mount Israel in particular, you've got a couple paragraphs here too written about the Great Depression time. You were saying that it was horrible, that Hernandez Hideaway at Del Dios Highway, and after just being built, it was turned into the headquarters for about 150 to 200 men. They ate and camped nearby. They built fire breaks, roads. They cleared from there to Elfin Forest and also around the lake. There were several camps of this type in this area. Mm-hmm. So this is another camp, just like the camp that was up on Palomar Mountain, I would assume,
yes,
set up by.
Yeah.
Is this since this was during the Depression, was this the Public Works, WPA, or?
Well, it was under that jurisdiction, yes.
Uh-huh.
The one up on Palomar and the one in Hernandez. We had just thousands of men and people that did not know how to work.
Oh.
They didn't know how to use a shovel or things like that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of horrible.
Oh, were they mostly local people, or were they from all over the
No,
United
no,
States?
city.
Oh, from San Diego City?
No, Los Angeles, San Francisco, city people, and
Young men that had come on hard times?
no, it was elderly.
Oh.
Most of them were elderly, in their 50s, 45, 50s, 60s, and just the nicest people you ever met.
Now, where did they live? They must have set up tents or something?
Well, Hernandez, they had perhaps tents and some structure around there. Now, other facilities, yes, they had a bunkhouse or mess hall, and then the camps, around.
But they didn't have a mess hall, or did they? At
Oh,
the
yeah,
Del
yeah,
Dios
mess
one,
hall.
they had a mess hall?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Where was that?
Hernandez was the mess hall.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who owned it at that time?
I really don't know.
Uh-huh.
I really, it was just recently at that time constructed,
Oh.
and I do not know who owned it.
Ruse Roost. I don't know what time it became Ruse Roost, do you? Or did...
I haven't heard that term in years.
Oh, yeah.
I think that that was after this particular time.
Oh, okay.
You see, liquor was involved in this area. Bootleggers and winemakers, etc. And of course it was involved there. Charlie Seaman was involved.
Oh.
A lot of people were.
This is during the Prohibition?
Yeah.
Little bootlegging going on up here. Oh yeah, what do you know about the bootlegging? Was there a bit of it up here on Mount Israel?
Well, my father ran this place and and he never sold a drop. However, I'm not saying that about our neighbors. We had neighbors from years back as well as recently from Kentucky, Arkansas, etc. And I don't know, they used to drive in and out quite often.
Well, you got to make money where you can, right? You also said that the developers, those that developed the Del Dios area, they had held several weekend barbecues, etc., to sell property. People came from all over. You said mostly old folks.
Yeah.
So they had big barbecues. Where were those held, and what did they serve?
Right around the corner from Hernandez, towards the store now, there's a little oak trees, and it was in there. Just a little place where people could accumulate. They come in with a busload of people, and they'd have a little dinner there.
Wow, a free barbecue to try to get people to buy into the property area. Wow.
Well, you see, Bill Barron, the one we spoke of there, and one of the neighbors, was a motorman in Chicago or Detroit. Years and years, and that's all they did was run up and down and back in this motorman. And then he's the one that had the Model T Ford and took the people to, ladies to Escondido once a week, etc. The interesting thing there was he backed out of his garage one day in a four-door sedan, and the car went across the street, down into the gulch, and laid on his side. And there he stood, belt deep in car. He's a big man. Help! Help!
Oh.
Well, anyway, they got him out.
That would be Bill Barron. Bill Barron being the one who would drive ladies to go shopping in Escondido every week or whenever was necessary. You wrote that here in your papers. Cool. You also mentioned that the foundation for the old store, the post office, etc., are still standing.
Yes, yeah.
And those are located exactly where? Where was the old post office, or was the post office part of the little general store?
The old store and the present driveway into the parking lot at the entrance into Lake Hodges parking area is back towards Escondido just a little bit. At the clear of the field there. It's a clearing. That's where the old original store was.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a concrete foundation
Yes,
that is
it's
still there. And that would be when you're going through the gate to go down to the boat docks, perhaps,
Would be
across
to
from
the
the country
left.
store. Yes.
Up street.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and that's the foundation for the old store, and that's where people would go and pick up their mail. Would the mail come in every day?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool. You could also get fishing permits and groceries, gas, boat rentals, etc. You said it was operated by Charlie Seaman.
Yeah, Mr. Seaman. And I guess he was also a constable.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh. He was the only one constable that you had here in Del Dios?
There were other constables from Escondido, but he was kind of the A leader in Del Dios.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Speaking of constables, did you ever hear the story of the Keystone Cop that lived here in Del Dios? Is that a true story? And do you know anything about it?
I wouldn't. I've heard of him, but I wasn't acquainted with him.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you think it might have been, huh? Might have been. Well, here's something else you wrote. You said people began moving into Del Dios from many cities. They would buy a lot, and then they'd have a home built, etc. You said your dad is a masonry man. He assisted in their efforts, building fireplaces, walls, foundations, etc. Apparently, he also supplied cut wood for cooking, which he hauled with the old wagon and with Dolly and Babe. Are Dolly and Babe the horses that you had? Uh-huh. And where did he get the cut wood? Did he cut it himself?
Yeah, we cut it. We prepared the wood, cut the wood, and that's kind of the way we made our living.
Really?
Was that effort and that connection, and of course we had a farm here. We had big gardens and vineyards, etc. It's since been destroyed by renters or leasers. But we were a functioning farm, as it were.
That was right here on Detwiler Road?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And there's an old house that is sitting midway on Detwiler Road here. As you're driving up Detwiler Road, on the left-hand side, by the tree that's in the middle of the road, there's an old house. Is that where you lived?
No, that was built, my wife and I built that. And when we had the children, and that's where we stayed when we came up to visit the folks.
Oh, okay.
And then, of course, that has since been removed. The cabin has been removed. But no, we established water wells, and mother, my wife, and I, we established our home, a home there. However, my work and my wife's work was involved in Santa Monica.
What were you doing there?
I was working for General Telephone, and I started out immediately out of the Navy, and we had 100 cars and trucks and a garage, and it was for 3 years I took care of them and worked at night there and went to school during the daytime.
Wow.
Fun.
Huh. So you must have had a second home up in Santa Monica, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. We were established there.
Okay.
Mark was raised there, and Gail and Joanne,
Okay.
more or less.
You had 3 kids.
Yeah. For 30 years I worked for them, the telephone company.
Wow.
And then when we married, or we had various homes in Santa Monica area, we built. Anyway,
So that was more a weekend house that you had built?
yes,
okay.
the weekend, yeah.
Gosh, it wasn't removed that long ago, because I remember seeing it
Yeah.
maybe as recent as the year 2000 or so.
Somewhere in that area.
Mm-hmm.
No, Mom and I was very much involved in this region. Neighbors, Mr. Taylor, and oh goodness, old timers. But really, you know, it's the strangest thing. You live in an area and yet you're restricted by geology or cars and etc. To an area, and you don't get over the hill.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, you say that the people of Del Dios were from all over the U.S. They were retired on a pension, etc. For example, you say, Bill Barron and Al Linder played 1,000 games of cribbage over the years. Was that at the old store?
That's at this end of Del Dios.
They would do that, what, at Hernandez Hideaway area? Or
Yeah. Yes.
Roost Roost?
He and Mr. Al Linder had, I think, 6 cabins that he rented out on the weekend. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, he had 6 cabins. Where were those located? Where did Al Linder have his cabins?
And, well, all right, now when you go down from Del Dios Highway into the south end of Del Dios,
Rancho Drive?
Immediately the first drive road to the right, and then to the left, and then there's a Gray's house that sets back up. And he had the Gray house, I think is still there, but the cabins I think are gone.
Oh, okay.
Now Bill Barron lived right across the canyon towards, you might say, Escondido.
Okay.
And that's why they were neighbors.
Oh, I see.
And Bert Wade, to get to Bert Wade, for example, was a very close neighbor, but you had to come up from Hernandez Hideaway to his house.
Okay. Now, Bill Barron, with that, the houses that I'm picturing, for instance, are like Kitty Seaborn's house. You know where Kitty lives?
No, I don't know.
Okay. And do you know where we live, at the top of Sunny Slope Lane?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll try to pin that down with you. Maybe sometime we'll drive around and see where all these people's houses were.
Well,
we'll do that another time.
This is real, to me, is very exciting, interesting, and I just want to do the best I can.
Well, you've got a lot of information, plus you've got a lot of photographs of this area that I know people are really going to want to see, and we need to get those documented, and we could bring up some Post-its and get that kind of thing done. But you've got a lot of information about this area that everybody wants to know about. So.
Well, it's just one thing about it. It just have the most wonderful people. But now it's kind of a, you look at it, it's kind of a worry. Years ago, we were involved, 1 or 2 farms, 2 or 3 neighbors. Now, I've got 28 neighbors, 1 road, 2 lanes, a fire hazard area, and how the hell are you going to get fire engines and people in and out, all on the one little road, in the event of an emergency?
So this is one of the things that I think a lot of the people know and remember you best as. They can picture you on your tractor during a major fire, and you've been doing that even right up until recently. I remember you were working the 1990 paint fire on a tractor, and this is right now we're into 2006, so that wasn't all that long ago when you were out there right during a major fire. Another thing I think a lot of people remember you as is having a glass of, I believe it was red wine, one glass there at the Del Dios Country Store, joshing around with Fran Ross.
Well, that is the Del Dios Country Store is Charlie Seaman. He was the, oh my goodness. Oh, and I had, there was some very nice people, Mr. Wiley, the Wiley family, and there was 3 girls. I used to go in on the school bus. Oh,
Tell me a little bit. Oh, go ahead.
I'm a little bit hazy there.
Oh, you are doing great. It's awesome. You know, you once told me we were walking along the dirt road that is officially called Rancho Drive, that goes down towards the dam. And we were walking along right about where that sycamore tree, in fact, right at the sycamore tree, which is where the pump station is going in right now.
Yeah.
And you pointed out to me that that's where they unofficially had their dump, that there were a lot of people that would dump things right down in that gully, which is now, was crepe myrtle and poison oak. Do you remember that? And
I don't remember the conversation, but
but you remember doing that?
Yeah.
And tell me about the road that used to be the main road, apparently, that went to Encinitas.
Oh, yes, that was the main road. And no, we never dumped stuff down there. We had our own dump. But Del Dios had problems, and, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
We did not have the sanitation set up that they have now.
Right.
It's wonderful.
Huh. How did you get your water up here in Mount Israel before electricity?
We had a water problem. Number one, we had permanent water springs right down in below our property. Our neighbor had that. And each canyon, we got water out of springs, or the water would come up on top of the rocks, and then we'd catch it. And on these gullies about cured in below and above, cured down the Mount Israel Road, over to the right was a spring, and then down here was a spring.
You had to haul it by hand, or in buckets, and then haul them up on your
No, we had
wheels?
what we call on the stone boat, we carried 2 barrels of water, and then we'd collect the water, and then put it in the barrels and haul it home.
Crying out loud.
Now, it's an interesting thing with this spring, it was right here. Years ago, they would unload, say, over in Encinitas, 2 or 3 carloads of cattle. And they would divert the cattle over Rancho Santa Fe now, and then up the hill and over the hill, down into this valley, and they'd get water there at that spring. And then from there, they'd go out into the Lake Hodges, where Lake Hodges is now. And then, after several months, put them back on a carload and take them back to Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a pre-Detwiler.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Well, you said that you also mentioned Mr. and Mrs. Burt Wade here. You say that Burt was a carpenter and he helped build many of the homes in the village. Mrs. Wade was a school teacher. You say they were wonderful people. You said that during your middle freshman year, you had to catch the bus at Hernandez every morning, that the school bus came from the country store, which was located in Rancho Santa Fe, and that you had students from Rancho all along the way to the high school in Escondido. So apparently Escondido High School, and there was only the one high school at the time, that big 2 or 3 story building we see pictures of, I believe. And it brought in students all the way from Rancho Santa Fe.
We in San Pasqual and Valley Center, you know, surrounding area. Ooh, what a football team.
Oh, were you on the football team?
Oh, well, I tried. No, I wasn't much of an athlete, but the people that were involved, you know, the kids.
Yeah.
Oh, they were strong, wonderful people.
Did you have weekly football games?
Well, we had many. Escondido High School won the area, Oceanside.
Wow.
And all the different high schools, football. They were good football players. And baseball, and baseball was second.
Did you play baseball?
No. No. Well, I just didn't fit in.
Yeah.
You know.
What were the things that you did like the most? If not sports, what did you enjoy the most? Was it math or reading?
They had a wonderful courses in future farmers. Farming, gardening, etc. And they had wonderful classes in that. And that's where I said,
wow. When your dad had the farm up here, did he also have livestock as well?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cattle, what did he have?
We had
pigs.
A couple cows and pigs and horses. And once in a while we'd butcher a pig and then have a barbecue, and the people from Dios would come up and friends from Oceanside, and we'd have a barbecue.
And that was right along Detwiler Road, I believe you told me, right along where the road is now. A lot of oak trees all through that area. That's where you used to have these big barbecues.
And in the summertime, our old friends from Oceanside or Carlsbad would come out and bring a busload of people and all their gear, and they'd camp there for a week.
Oh my gosh.
And then they'd come out with a bus and take them back. A couple of weeks or so. Oh, we had fun. Then later on, a lady came in from Hollywood, and she started a children's camp.
Oh.
And she had cooks and the whole thing right down there in the camp.
Where was that
children,
located?
Right on the road out on Del Diaz, on
Detwiler Road here?
Yeah. But the children were from Los Angeles, all city kids, and they had to get acclimated. Well, it was, I would say 15 kids, and it was I worked for them. I think I got 50 cents a day or something. Anyway, I would take them, load them up on the car, and drive down below the dam, and there's nice big pools down there. Are you acquainted with them?
Right. They're swimming down there?
Down there on
Fishing?
the old road. On the old road. And my goodness, it takes good kids swimming, and they'd really enjoy that. And then, of course, bring them back up, and then I help Oh, that was a nice situation.
That's a neat
And
thing.
what, I don't know what year that was right offhand.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really a neat thing because it makes kids from the urban city
Yeah.
take a personal interest in country and in environment. It's a really important thing. So, were there any other places that you lived in Del Dios, or this was when you moved here to the little house, or actually built the house? Did you do the building of yourself? Did you build that little house yourself?
Well, I
Or
either
had it
built
built.
it or had it built.
Had it built? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, did. Oh, no. If you want to do anything in a country like this, you go ahead and build it.
Uh-huh.
The first house, more or less, right next to the road as you go out. The stone masonry and that was put in 1921 and 22.
Okay. Well,
That's just an example.
no kidding. That's
And if
pretty
you
cool.
wanted a house, you build it out of adobe, or cement, plaster, and then some wood.
Yeah, whatever you can
Yeah.
find, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you have any stories about Hernandez Hideaway that you can share?
Well, it was headquarters for the
Oh yeah, you were telling us
Hard
about
times.
that. Uh-huh. Yeah. Do you remember, were there tournaments for the cribbage tournaments? Do you remember anything about that?
I don't remember. No, that was kind of the social end, and I wasn't involved there.
Did you like to go fishing, like
Oh, yeah.
at Lake Hodges? Did you do it a lot? Any stories?
Quite a bit. And my father and I would walk down. He'd stop and play cards with Bill Barron or Mr. Linder, and then I'd go fishing down and get the mail and go fishing.
Oh, okay.
And then maybe catch 2 or 3 fish and bring them home, bring them back up to there where they were playing cards. And then sometimes they'd get me involved in the 4-card, crib, 4-hand crib. And, it was fun.
Yeah. What was your mom and dad's name?
My dad's name was Joshua F. Detwiler. And my mother's name was Effie May Detwiler.
And what was her maiden name?
Wilder.
Okay,
May-
Wilder. Wilder.
Yeah.
Wilder.
Effie May.
Do you have any stories about the Haji monster that you could tell us about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember any of the rumors that went around there?
I think I was gone.
Yeah, good thing. What do you remember about some of the fires that we had here in Del Dios and Mount Israel? Some stories that you might have about any of the fires that you were on.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to think of those.
I have a great respect for fire. And I've been involved with fires in Palomar and down here. But why, when, why, and what, I can't come up with any answer.
Do you remember any things like earthquakes? Do you remember anything like really hot, stormy, or any times when there were terrible storms? Do you remember anything like that that you might want to share?
Occasionally, we got some very good rain storms. And then that kind of everything become impassable.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes
But-
when it'd be hard to get right down to the highway area from
Yeah.
up here, huh? Because of flooding?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I bet you had some. No rocks, no boulders down though, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. So, what would you say are some of your proudest memories as being a person from Mount Israel? Some of your proudest memories, or maybe proudest of your dad, or stories about your mother?
Well, of course, I'd just say they were wonderful people. And they just, my neighbors, Fideros over in Rancho Santa Fe, Mr. Taylor, they were just old timers, but they were nice people. And people in Del Dios were double-barreled good people.
Well, I'll just ask maybe another 5 minutes, and then we'll just kind of, just 5 more minutes. Can you handle 5?
Okay.
Okay, I'll ask you, what do you think are some of the biggest changes that you've seen in Del Dios and Mount Israel over the years?
Well, I think the establishment of the dam is one of the major ones. And the main highway down along from Rancho Santa Fe to Escondido, raising it up. And that was raised up because they were going to, at one time, raise Lake Hodges Dam 100 feet. So they raised the road up before the dam. And that's the reason it's up now. But in that connection, the growth of the general area, it's just been remarkable. Of course, I was gone a long time, 30 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were a little more. But the people are just wonderful.
So you must have left, I'm thinking that since you came here, I'm thinking in your freshman year of high school, you came to Escondido?
Yeah, yes.
Great, and that was from the Oceanside area, and that was when your dad was living here. So you came to live here in your freshman year of high school. Then you left when you went to college or after high school, and then you were gone for 30 years and came back, am I right?
Well, I left and worked for Caltech for 3 years, and then in the Navy for 4, just kind of, and then I got married, and all those other good things.
And then Santa Monica,
Yeah.
Right, for the telephone company or something you said, okay. Do you have any suggestions for folks that have just moved to Del Dios?
Watch out for fire.
Watch out for fire.
That's the big one. Have things available, you know.
Can you tell us something about how you had to get up and go to high school? I know that you would have to get up and walk down to Hernandez Hideaway, which is where you caught that bus, apparently, that came out from Rancho Santa Fe out to the Escondido High School.
9 minutes.
9 minutes? 9 minutes is what?
From here down there.
Oh, you had it timed out that it would take 9 minutes to walk down there. Did you bring a little lunch sack with you, or?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I'm going to ask you one last question. Well, no, actually 2 last questions. Anything you know about Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford? You did hear that did you say that you do kind of remember that they used to come down here? And
They were, Mary Pickford, they were just across the lake.
they actually had a little cottage?
Yeah. And then, of course, down in Rancho Santa Fe, there was many movie people down there.
Wow. We'll have to take you for a ride, and you can show us where all these places are.
I don't know.
Well, do you want to give a snapshot of an ordinary day here in Mount Israel? Do you want to give us an idea of what an ordinary day might have been like when you, as a young boy, young man of high school years, would help your dad on the farm here?
Well, I get up, milk the cow, take care of the chickens, and then come in, eat breakfast, and then go to school. And then come home from school and take care of the chickens, milk the cow, and farm a little bit, whatever projects that are going on, and then finally get in and have dinner, and that's it.
Wow.
Or maybe if we really wanted to, after dinner, well, Dad and I would walk down to Dios and perhaps he'd play cribbage with his friends.
And you do a little fishing, and maybe that would be your, pretty cool. That's pretty neat.
I got a couple of questions. Josh, I'm just curious if you remember the area over here where the new dam is and the new reservoir. There used to be a big bowl area canyon in there, and there was a pond up at the other end. Do you remember that?
Yes, that was that was Bill Bodie's property.
Did he have a vineyard in there in the bottom of that, or did he grow something in that canyon?
Well, he homesteaded up there. There's 3 nice valleys up there on top of that hill. And in the one valley, he put a dam in and held the water.
Yeah, I remember at the one end there was a little, where you could tell there had been a little dam and a pond up there.
Yeah.
But the large part of the valley, did they have agriculture there?
As pasture.
Uh-huh.
No growing.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of cabin or some kind of structure foundations up there.
Yeah.
Too.
That's where Bill Bodie's cabins were.
I see. Great. And did you know any of the dam keepers?
Oh yes, but don't ask me their names.
Uh-huh.
No, there's some of them had children.
Uh-huh. That's great.
Eastman.
Uh-huh.
Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Eastman used to own the store for a while.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Matt Tidwell. There would be Matt Tidwell. There was also Ted Bales.
Yeah. Kidwell. And but the dam keeper, one of them had 2 or 3 children.
Uh-huh.
Nice family.
Do you remember before they had the I-15, when there was just the 395 bridge across the other side, they had some kind of a roadhouse or dance hall operation on the other side of the lake?
And some cabins, I think.
It seemed like they actually ran the whole fishing program and everything out of there, as opposed to this side. It was over there, close to where Rancho Bernardo would be right now.
Well, I wouldn't be associated over there.
Okay.
There's probably a lot of things went on that I wouldn't know about.
Right.
Now it is Mr. Israel. I know that he had a little house that was right in the middle of Box Canyon. And Mr. Israel, who had apparently homesteaded that area, I guess, he was he used to be part of the lighthouse over in Point Loma. Does any of that mean anything to you? Or did you ever meet him?
My father was, I think, acquainted with him, and or had an associate in his business in Oceanside by the name of Israel.
Okay.
But that does ring a bell, and it comes about to Mount Israel.
Yeah. Do you know anything about the Indian camps? I know that there was apparently at least one in the Box Canyon area, Indian camps, that would have obviously predated all of us.
There's just a lot of things that went on in Box Canyon.
Sure. I bet. Yeah.
Do
Interesting.
you remember John Sherman?
Yes. Oh, John, he's still here, isn't
Yes,
he?
he is. I just spoke to him the other day.
Oh, God, he's a nice man.
And you've known him for quite a long time.
Yes, sir.
Great.
Many years, and he's a very good, nice gentleman.
Right.
Nice neighbor.
Yeah. He did a little bit of gardening up here.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
he's done a lot of work up in this region.
Uh-huh.
John, well known and well liked.
Right. Do you remember the college biological supply?
College biological supply.
Where were they located?
Right down, right over this way. They
Oh,
used to
yeah.
sell the frogs, and they sold stuff to schools for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I knew the owner and the family, but I didn't know it. I was living in Santa Monica at that time,
I see.
or Pomona.
Great.
Yeah. There was a lot happened when I was gone.
30 years, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I just want to thank my daughter and my son, and they're just taking care of this old guy. It's something else. Yeah.
Was there something you wanted to say, Bob?
I think we're all done, unless Mark wanted to say something.
Well, we can hold off for a moment while he's on the phone.
Okay.
That was really terrific. You're awesome. Did a great job. You're awesome. You covered a lot of material. Oh, are you a little tired?
No.
Did that wear you out a bit?
Do you remember what kind of fish you used to catch down at the lake?
Bass,
Uh-huh.
bluegill,
Uh-huh.
just the two.
I see.
Oh, and a catfish.
Uh-huh.
Once in a while I'd get it. Oh boy, they were good eating.
That's great.
You know that the catfish, you watch him, and he come running, and he backs you into a hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mark, do you have something you'd like to say?
No, sounds like you got pretty good coverage.
Well, it sounded.
Your hearing aid.
Do you remember anything about the fish kill that they did? Maybe in the 50s, I believe that they
I don't
tried to kill the carp.
Did you shoot birds out here? Shoot birds?
No.
No. How
No
about
hunting?
deer?
Yeah.
Any deer?
Well, I hunted a lot of deer, but I never killed one.
Uh-huh. Great. Great. How about mountain lions? Did you ever see a mountain lion close to Mount Israel up here?
I believe one time, but that's all. There's population all the way around, and it was just isolated. Yeah, very rare for a mountain lion.
Uh-huh.
We had them up on Palomar, but not down here.
I see. And you always had plenty of coyotes around here?
Oh yeah, foxes,
Uh-huh.
possums, things like that.
Great.
Yeah.
Would you mind describing for me what your mother was like? Was she funny? Was she religious? Was she...
My mother was a big, tall lady, and she was born up in Murrieta. She was a Californian.
Murrieta Hot Springs here?
Murrieta Hot Springs.
Very local.
And she moved to Oceanside. That's where she met my father. And but she went to school in Oceanside. But she was very double-barreled active. Just go, 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 go. And she drove a car, and she worked for many years in Escondido at the Lemon House or this and that. And
What was the Lemon House?
the
Is that-
Lemon House was where they
Packing?
Huh?
Is it like a packing place?
Packing place.
Okay.
That was where Barnes and Noble is now,
Yes, I believe it.
right there near Tulip.
Yeah.
Huge. Wow. And what about your dad? What was he like?
Dad was the nicest man. He knew what he wanted to do and when. And he took a nap every day at noon. And a worker, he worked. I got up at early in the morning till late at night. Yeah. And he had a business. You see, during World War I, they had trouble making bullets, shell, copper. And he had a business of cobblestones out at the mouth of the San Luis Rey River. And he harvested those and shipped them out by the carload back to Missouri or wherever they make the copper. And he was involved with that for, well, during World War I. And then, after the war, he was built a home and everything in Oceanside. And then in the 20s, he came out here and saw this area and said, and being from Canada and being a farmer boy, 13th in the family, then he said, more or less, this is it.
Wow.
Of course,
I got another quick one for you. You said it used to take you about 9 minutes to go down to the bus stop. How long did it take you to come back up again?
oh, it'd take 15.
Okay, all righty. And another one, I don't know, do you remember when they put all these naval turrets up here on top of the hill? The
Over
guy
here?
drug all that stuff up there?
Over to the, that's just more or less recent.
Yeah, yeah.
I have, if we, 20, I think 28 neighbors. And I don't know any of them.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I just remember, I wanted to know if you ever been up there to see those or anything.
At the Roundhouse, I was at the Roundhouse before she passed away.
I see.
that
Oh,
would
in
be
Madeline's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Beautiful view.
And I have pictures from up there. But she passed away and I haven't kind of lost track.
Yeah, great.
Well, we'll sometime come up and get some, take a look at some of the photographs that you've got, and you've just been an incredible Mount Israelite all these years.
Well,
Cool.
God, and I
Good
tell
buddy.
you that, I
Good
kind
buddy.
of think that goes both ways.
Well, thank you so much, Josh. We sure appreciate you. Thank you so much for letting us interview you.
Well, I don't know whether it amount to a dam or not.
Oh, I've learned a lot. Thank you so much. That was awesome. How did that go?
Real good. Real
Fantastic.
good. Would you guys like to see a little clip of it?
Sure. You want to see a little clip of it? Should we wait till Mark gets off the phone?